Last week saw the completion of the New Zealand Bloodstock 2018 Ready to Run sale. We thought we'd head out to Karaka and check out all the action. Mike, thanks for joining us this evening. Tell me your opinion of the sale as a whole.
Well, I think it was a little bit reflective of last year as it got starting very, very slowly. It was pretty hard work, to be fair, in the first 3 or 4 hours on the first day. But it did get into a rhythm as people found their mark and decided what they were looking for. Some of our local sires are very, very highly regarded. I think Savabeel was an absolute star, and then of course Tavistock was very similar, and horses like Perencanto as well. So the buying bench was huge, and I think we had booked in more people at hotels than we have in a long time. So we definitely had the buyers here, but they were very picky as well. I think having people like Krit Chittasini from Thailand and spending over $1 million is a huge positive and a boost to our breeding industry, and a recognition of how highly regarded our horses are. Of course the Americans were here. We had people from Europe, and then we had our solid buying bench from Asia, Southeast Asia, which I think there was so many trainers from Singapore, Hong Kong, very well recognised faces, and Malaysia were back in the market again this year too, which was fantastic. And then we had our remote control bidding centre up in Macau at the Jockey Club there, and then of course you've got Australia, and then New Zealand are still our big market as well, and Te obviously David Ellis once again making his presence felt.
At the conclusion of the two-day sale, 252 horses had sold for an aggregate of over 24 million. Clearance rate of 68% and an average price of $96,530. The demand for progeny of Waikato stud Savabeel continued, with 4 of the top 5 price lots by him, and a total of 11 Savabeel 2-year-olds sold for an average price of $313,182.
Mark, congratulations on a great sale. Was it what you expected?
No, it certainly wasn't, Emily, and thank you very much. But, no, coming into the sale, I sort of thought if they should sell, and they should sell well, because obviously our draft with Ohukia were mainly Savabeels, and they were nice horses, and he's a very important stallion and sire to New Zealand, and obviously doing a wonderful job. So it was nice coming here with that product.
Just tell me a little bit about how these horses ended up at the Ready to Runs.
We breed a lot of horses. We breed 220 odd mares. So, and I think what we've learnt over the years is we've certainly had the blinkers on up until a certain stage that yearling sales are our go, and obviously that is our main go for moving horses on and getting them out around the world. But I think what's become very important in our focus now is basically every horse has its day, and so we now just concentrate on whenever the best time to prepare and present a horse is. That's what we'll do. And these horses in particular, for various reasons, they were just a little bit immature come the yearling sales, and weren't really ready for intense preparations at that stage of their life. So we just let them develop a little bit more, and we have a great relationship with Jamie and Chanel, and they're wonderful horse people and do a wonderful job. It's not such a great time of the year for us, the Ready to Run, because we're so busy on the farm, and obviously our yearling draft for 2019 is already underway, so it's nice having them done with those people that specialise on this job.
Just out of the horses that you did sell during this little period, one of the families was particularly significant to your family. That's the Millie Lily. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yes,
well, it was an interesting day yesterday because we only had a small number here in the Ohukia draft. The first colt that went through was actually Gary's, and the next colt that went through was mine, and then the third one, the Millie Lily, she was a mare that I bought for Lisa, and unfortunately she passed away when she was in foal for the first time, which was to Savabeel. So anyway, we sold that yearling, and then I said to the kids, you can breed the mare, and on the day she was ready, I suppose we're talking 3 years ago sort of thing, or 3 seasons ago. Savabeel had a quiet day, so I said, righto, you can have the opportunity and have one crack at Savabeel, and she went in foal, and that was the resulting foal. So they're very excited, and now they'll have to invest wisely, hopefully in horses.
At 440,000, he goes.
The top price lot was Dormello Stud's Savabeel colt out of the O'Reilly mare Disguised, who was knocked down to the Inner Mongolia rider horse industry for $525,000.
First of all, congratulations on your purchase. What made you buy this horse? Why this horse?
Mr. Wu said he would love to buy a good quality coach and then race in New Zealand and then train him in New Zealand.
And the horse will go to Murray Baker to be trained, is that the plan?
We bought two in this sales, 207 and this one. We all let them to the Murray Bay to train.
Murray, not a horse that you purchased yourself, but a nice one to be getting into the stable, the top lot here at the Ready to Runs.
Yeah, he's a beautiful horse, Emily. I thought he'd top the sale. Well related, full to a Group 1 winner, and he's by Savabeel, and they are just outstanding horses, so he's hoping.
What happens from here? Does he go back to the stable?
He goes to Spelling Farm and he'll have a good rest for probably 6 weeks. As you know, the Ready to Run's high prep and it takes the edge off them, and we'll look to bring him back in the late summer, early autumn.
The leading purchaser of the sale was Te Akau's David Ellis, who spent a tick over $1.3 million on 8 horses.
We've bought 7 so far. Bought a couple of Savabeel colts that I really like. We've bought a Sham Express that I think is an absolutely beautiful colt. Colts with good pedigrees. You know, one of the Savabeel colts could be a stallion, could be the next Savabeel. It's been great for us. It's been a buyer's market, which a lot of ready-to-run sales are around the world. You never have a really top clearance rate at ready-to-run sales, but we're just so thrilled with the quality that we've bought, and it's just, words can't quite describe how thrilling it is to be able to take these really top horses back and have them in our stable to train, and have Opie to ride them and Jamie to train them, and the owners just love it. They're horses that won't take long to get to the races now.
The leading vendor of the sale was Riversley Park, having sold 18 horses for an aggregate of just over $2.9 million.
So congratulations on a remarkable 2 days, leading vendor by aggregate for the 2nd year running. Has there been a highlight for you two?
There was probably 2 highlights, the Havitbak Prestigious Miss Colt and Exceed Excel Colt that both sold for $400,000. That'd have to be the highlight.
It must be quite a tense couple of days for you waiting for those results, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. You never sort of know how the sale's going to kick off, and until you sort of get it halfway through the first day, you're not too sure where the market is or where the horses are valued at. So when you get your head around that, it sort of makes things a bit easier.
Tell me a little bit about Riversley Park itself.
We're based out of Halpo, so 2 minutes out of Cambridge. We've got 50 acres out there, so it's set up really for breakers and pre-trainers. We've got our own track, and obviously we've got Cambridge, Waipar and Te Awamutu track not so far, so we're pretty lucky where we are. The spot's great, especially for what we're doing.
It must be a huge team effort to come here. Is there a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes?
Yeah. We've got a great team behind us, and we're very lucky having the staff that we do at home. And obviously it goes down to even like the vets behind us, and yeah, we're very lucky to have the people we have.
So not only do you do the ready to runs, but there's other aspects to your business as well. Can you tell me a bit about that?
The base of it is breaking in horses. Well, that's how we started until we started pinhooking a few. So we do a lot of breaking in, that would be the base, and then we do a bit of pre-training, and sales horses is sort of just eventuated after year, and we're sort of going that way more now than doing the breaking, but we still do a lot.
And what happens tonight? Do we get a celebration, or is it just hit the sheets, too tired?
I think it's home and bed, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty
Big
much.
couple of days.
Really, yeah, it is a huge few days here at the sales. Yeah. It's very full on and a lot of work. Yeah, early mornings.
Well, congratulations. It's been a fantastic sale for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Windsor Park Stud this afternoon with Darrell Hollinshead to meet Back to Chief's new foal by Redwood. Hi, Darrell.
Hello, Emily, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, good.
How's it going?
Good, good. Good.
Excited to see the new edition?
Yeah, no, it'd be good, yeah.
Yep.
Yep, no, yeah, so just hope later on as good as his older brother, it'd be good.
And unfortunately, your dad couldn't be here today, could he?
No, he's a bit sort of bit sore and yeah, he's struggling a bit with his health and bits, so yeah.
He's got us out here to take some pictures and bring them back to him.
He has, yeah. Well, no sense in coming, is there really, for him? No.
Exactly. How did your association with the Schicks and Windsor Park come about?
Probably mainly Gordon Calder. He kept coming year after year and trying to get us to go to stands, and we never did, and I suppose it'd be 10, 12 years ago we first started when High Chaparral and Foal Park were going, and that's when he started, yeah, seeing the mares, and it's probably one of the best moves we've ever done.
You haven't seen this foal?
No, I haven't, no. Up to this stage, we've got good, actually, all three mares, the three best ones, probably Black Chief, Black Princess and Ponder all had colts, so we've had it's a very small family, but we had a heap of fillies the last few years, and it's nice to get some colts now.
And what was the sort of thought process behind the redwood mating?
Just a High Chaparral, and in fact, all our mares seem to have a bit of a magical cross ready with set as well.
Yeah, okay.
There hasn't been many of them, but they seem to throw some pretty class horses out with Ecuador and Ponder and Shark, and yeah, probably rip them up now too.
Oh, here he is. When was he born?
I'm about 5 or 6 days ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you sort of looking for when you're looking at them?
First thing I look is at legs.
Okay.
Main thing is straight legs, and he looks pretty good ready for a young foal. Most of the family were very lucky, they all seem to have straight legs, which is a bonus.
Hey, little buddy.
Hey, buddy. He's just a nice foal, really, yeah.
Yep.
Nice, correct. It's probably a little bit bigger than Ponderosa's colt, but yeah, overall, but they always are. He's got nice, good long leg, so it'll be a big horse when it's finished, I'd say.
Yeah, he looks well.
Yeah, no, he is.
Will you retain this colt?
Being a colt, we'll sell it, no doubt.
As a yearling? Is that the plan?
Yeah. All our colts we try and sell, and at the stage, actually now we'll probably only retain one filly a year or something like that. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to show you the photos of the foal now, Dad.
The photos of your new foal.
It's a nice picture, isn't it?
Got the little, yeah, he got the little
It was quite tall, actually.
He's a leg, you know, when you look at the length of the leg, cannonbone.
What do you look for when you're looking at foals?
Usually it's got a bit of a broom in the gullet. I say nice long ears. Bill seen this horse with the big long ears.
Yeah.
The first things Bill looked for young ones was big long ears.
Okay, good nature.
Well, good nature, and they don't sort of, he said they don't try and cheat all the time. These little short-eared buggers, he said, cheat.
Okay.
And if you really go and watch sometimes, too, you know, he's quite correct.
Good legs is the main thing, isn't it, really?
And good legs, yeah. Well, 90% of foals have good legs most times.
And you were saying that he's got a nice overstep as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, good overreach.
Yeah.
And then you can be completely wrong, because something will come out with no overreach, short ears, and be a good racehorse.
I like the colour. He's got a lovely rich colour too.
Yeah, doesn't matter what colour they is, it's what they've got there.
In hindsight, yeah. Do you remember Mum? Remember back to Chief?
Yeah, she won a Waikato Gold Cup, didn't she? Yeah.
He used to hate Granddam, Havitbak. They had a pet hate between them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was a bitch.
Oh, Dad, get on something TV.
Well, she was. She'd boot you and kick you, and she was a handful.
Was she?
Yeah. That's what we called Havitbak for. We got it back for run sales, and we know Jim Cam wouldn't have it back. We only just walked into the pavilion, and we didn't even have it marked, and it was coming as this English pedigree, all black type right through it. And we went and saw Jim afterwards, and he bought it privately for $1,700, I think, so we actually wanted to give him back for quite some time, actually, which is that hard work. Yeah.
You'd have given it back, I tell you. But she was tough. If she was down the boxes and she'd sweat up, you know, and before we went to the races, she'd be good as gold. If she stood down there and never did anything, don't back her.
But he's a bit ahead of himself, old Jim, really. He bought English mares out for other people, and no one in New Zealand actually really wanted English mares, but they didn't know him, so that's why we probably got it so cheap. And one other part of the English family ended up in Australia.
Okay.
And it was two back from Havitbak, and that was America's Lice mother in Adelaide, so that's where that sort of part comes in.
Yeah.
Seems to be an English family that's crossed pretty well in this part of the world.
So you bought Havitbak at the sales from the English family, you raced her, and then you wanted a breed from her. That was what really sort of took your fancy?
Well, I always wanted to have a breed mare. Dad didn't like it. I was quite surprised. She went down the big fillies race to Cuddle Stakes.
Okay.
Anyway, he stayed at Mick Preston's place and Mick wanted to buy her from America or somewhere, so I was quite glad. I was quite surprised he actually brought him back.
So for people at home who maybe aren't fully across this family, it starts with Havitbak.
Yeah.
And how many races did she win?
She won about 8, and she was Group 2 player. She missed by a nose winning Group 2 mile.
Now she's most famous for her progeny Back the Princess and Back the Chief. So if we start with Back the Chief.
But she won the Waikato Cup. She didn't have a long career because she broke down the Auckland Cup. Her second win, I think, was Open Handicap. We just put in for a user of a track gallop here, and she won the Open Handicap. And Dean Knowles gave us 16 points, so that's when we decided we had to go for something big because we were up in the handicaps very quickly, and so that's when she went to the Waikato Cup. And to be fair, it was almost a year too soon for her, but she won it.
And she's been a very good broodmare herself, hasn't she?
Yes, she has. Yep. The first foal was a horse called Havitbak, and we thought it was the best horse we've ever put a saddle on. But unfortunately, she broke down first start. She's actually got her first foal in the Red Run, which they tell me they think is pretty special at the moment. Then I suppose there's, what's the next one from her? There's a Year All Year, I think, one couple. And she paid the price really when Night Ponderosa won the Easter Handicap. Bruce Slade stepped in and bought her, and that was in her race career. Te Awamutu Shark, yep, and we all know what he's doing. And it's, to be honest, when he's bred to be a virtually 1.5 to 2 mile horse, so it's a bit scary when he actually gets over 2,000 metres. Really, what he's doing, he shouldn't be doing that ground what way he's bred.
And he's got also a relative at the Te Awamutu stable as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, Baby Shark. Yeah, we've got the full sister, which we think is one of the better horses we've had too.
And then we went to see the Redwood today, which is her foal at foot. And who's she going to go in foal to now?
She'll go back to Rip Van Winkle, her and Havitbak, both of them, because we'll get a full brother or sister or a 3/4 brother or sister, yeah.
And on the other side, Back to Princess, she was unraced, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She was just broken in, or heartbroken really. Her foals are completely different. They're on the smaller side, Honda and Ecuador ponies, and Rip 'em Up looks the same. And just a whisker back from those is probably Miracle's Life was exactly the same too. We're going a very small horse.
And what's Back to Princess doing now?
Is going to Tarzino now.
And does she have a yearling at the moment?
Yeah, she has a nice colt, and it's more on the Ponderosa Ecuador size by a old man. It's not a big horse.
Any others from Back to Princess?
We've got a Prickly Princess.
Yeah.
She won 4 races, and unfortunately she got galloped on in an open trail race at first start and had infection which blew right through her whole leg.
Are you breeding from her as well?
Yes, we are. Yep. She's got a colt this year themselves by Redwood.
Ponderosa Mist was a little story behind the meeting, isn't there?
Dad took Back Chief over Australia for me, and I stayed here, and he wanted to go to Fast and Famous. I always liked High Chaparral. So while I was away, I rang up and booked him in, and come back, and I didn't really dare to tell him till about September it was. But they were going to High Chaparral, and that stage, luckily High Chaparral was going well, and so it was there, so I was very lucky. It was, yeah, it was yeah. So
I've never been one to put all my eggs in one basket with horses.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't put happy at the time.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm a bit happier later on.
Happier now?
Yeah.
And you kept Ponderosa Miss obviously yourself. Did she always give you the impression that she was going to be top line?
Well, from day one she always showed a bit, didn't she really?
Yeah, from the first trial she had.
It must have been horrific to see her that day when she did have the fall. Were you just thinking the worst?
We were, especially when the vets there were talking about putting her down and that sort of thing. It was probably one of the most shocking bit of riding I've ever seen actually. Ian Mackay was probably the one, he rang him and he said, no, put her on a float and bring her here and the clinic, which we did do.
And Ian's played a big part actually with this family, hasn't he?
He has, he saved Back to Princess. I rang him down to put Back to Princess, so it's Ponder Ecuador's mum down, because she rolled, we only broke her in and she rolled and cut the back tendon like our Achilles in half. And I thought she'd broken a leg. And Ian said, no, we can save that. So we wrapped her, and otherwise, if I'd rung our local cow vet, we probably would have put her down. He also saved her a second time. I did when she had the day Ponderosa started the Herbie Dyke Stakes. I was with her at the clinic all day with the colic. They cut her open, and she was very lucky there. So between the 4 close escapes now with Ponda, we had a bit of fright. We want to go there too. She hemorrhaged after she foaled. I got a ring from Henry at Cambridge Stud, and I dived over, and Marcus Corbin, and they did a remarkable job on her really. And so once again, Cambridge vets. And I thought I'd say my goodbyes actually, and there's about 50-50 chance I think. And now she's good as gold.
Pretty harrowing to understand what she was going through, knowing how important she is to you.
Yeah, she really was, I'll tell you. I was waiting for that phone to ring at any time.
Yeah.
To say that she'd gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, still say that it was just a toughness come through again. She had a beautiful nature. I asked up in the paddock across here one day. This is after she'd had her operation, you know, and we treated her and looked after her. And I went out and I went arse over kite and I couldn't get up. And she came over, put her head down so I'd get her hand in the head collar and lifted me up.
Really?
That's after I'd been treating her for months, you know, handing her every day. And
God.
Jo was watching from the window and she couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
She said, that's payment back for what you've done for her.
Yeah.
For her.
She had quite a cult following as well, didn't she, during her career?
Yeah, she did, yeah. Especially after the accident, we'd gifts turn up and, after, and I suppose letters, and it was unreal, the amount of people that one day how she getting on, people you never heard of or seen or,
Well, I was really surprised. It's because we didn't sort of expect it. We'd never had anything like that before.
It's Ponderosa Miss out wide. Vespa's giving plenty. Look at Cowie start to eat up the ground. Ponderosa Miss in front from Vespa. Cowie is flying along the inside. Ponderosa Miss and Daniel Hayne. Oh, gee, this is close.
Congratulations. What a mare.
She's very tough, isn't she?
With everything she's been through as well, with what happened at Hawke's Bay, look where we are now a few months later on to be winning a Group 1.
Well, it's very, very nice.
For your family, the mare side of things has been very straightforward, but what have been your favourite stallions that you've enjoyed over the years?
And probably you say, if you had to pick a stallion, my call would be probably High Chaparral. Dad's probably, I imagine, Zephyr Bay, I suppose, would it? But yeah, he sort of, well, basically he was the first, I think, we said as well as we started going to, and it certainly, that said as well as Blood certainly crosses good with our family, Van Winkle, and I think even Gillentine left a Group 1 place horse in Macau, a River and Gill, so it seems to be, it just works for our family, said as well as Blood. That's probably another reason we sort of gone back to Tavistock again, really, so you get a little bit more of there.
When it comes to breeding, what's been your philosophy?
Well, mine is basically, I reckon, across two athletes, you're more likely to get an athlete. I don't know if it's right or wrong, everyone's got their different opinion on it.
And what about for you, what's your breeding philosophy?
90% luck, I'd say.
Go on, you've had too much success for that.
Well, there is a lot of luck involved. But I think if you go to what you think is a good stallion, which is anyone's guess what sometimes is a good stallion, but when they come, you sort of go and look at them. And if you like, sometimes you like them straight away, other times you don't like them at all.
Your backgammon judgment, hopefully you're right, really.
The horses that you have sold, do you follow them very closely?
We do. We have as much excitement watching them race in Ecuador and those as we are our own horses race.
It feels like you still own them.
Really? Yeah. And it adds value to your family, so it's still great.
Yeah, that's what one of my friends, Nick Petmore, was saying about Ecuador, aren't you? You're annoyed you sold him. I said, no, it can work out better. He's over here making a family, and we've gone over and been part of Stacey and watched the Australian Cup and, that sort of thing with him, so yeah.
Do you class the Havitbak family as a business or as a hobby now still?
Well, it's more the business now as far as the breeding side of it, but say it's a hobby is when we actually keep a nice filly and race it and enjoy it.
When you talk about the success that you've had with this breed, how life-changing has it been for your family, for the farm, for everything?
We're probably lucky, the horses, we do a job we love. A lot of people don't do that, but we do love the horses, and it's given us an awful lot of fun and get out and about, and rather than in the cow yard, we were stuck in the shed.
Meet a lot of nice people. That's one of the biggest things I enjoyed racing. You go down to Palms and North or somewhere like that, it's not long if we got a glass of beer in your hand and you're meeting new people. And it's joy, I loved it.
Rachel, once a foal is born and arrived, what happens next? Where does it go?
So 80% of them are all correct and everything's straightforward with them. So what we do is we bring them into the boxes for one night to continue the bonding experience with mare and foal, and then they'll head out to a small paddock by themselves, and then after that for the next 8 days they will graduate into bigger paddocks with other mares and foals, and then continue on to the main farm after 10 days old. The other 20%, or the other ones that might have a few little leg issues, and that then will continue to box them. Some of them may need physio, or some just need a little bit of extra special attention for a little while. They just might be a bit slack behind, or they might be a bit contracted, which all right themselves very quickly, but a lot of it just requires a little bit of restricted movement, and as I said, a little bit of physio. If we have one that's born before 11 months, we keep them boxed right up to make sure that the foal's well developed.
Is there anything else that they could require attention for in those first sort of 10 days?
Sometimes they do require farrier work, depending on their legs and that. Again, you're talking a minority of foals, but for those ones it is a huge help. While their bones are soft and they're so young, you can get a great result by that extra attention. For
the foals that are obviously very straightforward and everything's going wonderfully, what does a day in the life of a foal between 1 and 10 days old look like?
Lots of drinking and sleeping, really. Yeah. Really, it's just a bonding experience with the mum and just making sure everything's right. And then once the mare's gone through a foal heat and that, she'll head up to the main farm. And yeah, really it's all about them just enjoying life at this age.
Jude, how does a foal develop both mentally and physically within the first 10 days?
So they strengthen up hugely. When they're born and they're very unsteady on their legs, they suddenly start, every day you see a change in them as they grow and they strengthen up. And they start to, form that really special bond with their mum, which starts very, very early doors, where you get that first little whinny between mare and foal, and Rod and I always get really excited when you hear that. And then they start to follow around with mum in the paddock, and that's really how you sort of see that bond forming over the first 10 days. If everything's going normally, then there shouldn't be any medical attention required during that time, really just monitoring them and checking that they're still healthy, happy, nursing and doing all the things that we expect them to do. And it's really only if there's any deviation from that that we would then be called to look and get involved whether there's something that needs to be treated.
In a worst case scenario, what things maybe could go wrong and require medical attention?
So probably scours or diarrheas in young foals are probably the thing that we're most worried about in that first 10 days, just because these babies have no reserve to call on. So if they do develop a bad diarrhea, they dehydrate very, very quickly. So we do need to be quite cautious with those, and whether we need to go down the route of providing intravenous fluids to support them. So in the first 10 days we don't vaccinate. What we do is we provide a tetanus antitoxin as soon as they're born. A lot of mares will come here vaccinated for tetanus, and they will pass that immunity on to their foals. But as a precaution, we also give tetanus antitoxin as soon as they're born. And then it's further down the line that we'll start looking at giving other vaccinations to them.
You're already in the thick of things here, but what are you doing with the foals at the moment?
Just simply, this one's got just a contracted fetlock. So what we do is we put one hoof in the base of our hand and push down, and then push down the joint. We're just stretching the joint out.
Okay.
So we do that for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the severity of them. We do it 3 times a day. You definitely see results.
Yeah.
If they're obviously worse, we get maybe 3 or 4 times a day on physio. If Jude doesn't think it's as severe, maybe twice a day. You definitely do see results from stretching it out.
How do you monitor the progress of the physio?
So Jude will monitor the progress. She will come around every day and reassess the foal. And when she decides that it no longer needs physio and it can go out in a paddock, it's her choice.
And what you're doing, the foal seems really relaxed. Do they kind of enjoy it?
I think they enjoy it. They just get in a cuddle, they get in a scratch. Then they tend to relax. As long as you do it, they get used to it. And it's just a bit of attention for them.
Yep. And the mum seems pretty happy too. She's quite relaxed as well, isn't she?
Yeah, she's getting a break from baby if it's lying down.
Next week on Kiwi Bred, we meet Southland breeders Willie and Karen Calder and learn more about Group 1 Metropolitan winner Patrick Erin.